A very good morning and welcome to the show. Smakurutsina mhlekiseni nikhethe kuvuka nathi. Sethemba ukuthi nibe nempilo somvanenhle nalebusisekile. Siyanivusela. My name is Lungelele Makakula. It is the 11th of September 2023. Sesenje inyanga tintathu kuphela ukuthi sifike eminyakeni lomusha wa 2024. Sesamthi niphilile lapho nobukela khona umsakazo Eswatini TV. You can also watch the show on our YouTube page khona Eswatini TV. Mnguni, how are you?
Doing very well, Lulu. 2.5 months actually, because it is the second Monday of September, meaning that we're halfway into the month of September. October very soon. And unyaka suka sasewucedzile nakufika letikhathi letilungelele. A very good morning to you and lo labo lonabo ngwane lomuhle lapho uvuka khona noma ngabe ke awukho lapha kithi kangwane uyakhona kusibukela ka YouTube through Eswatini YouTube channel. You can follow all our programs. We were broadcasting a couple of other programs during the course of the trade fair. Lesibuya kuyo evikini leliphelile and a couple of other cultural events that we saw over the past few days. We do hope to see Emalanga asachubeka because we do have elections coming, secondary elections. It's going to be such a big assignment for the whole nation as well as for us as a broadcaster. So we do hope you will still be tuned into Eswatini TV. A very good morning this Monday morning. We should be having an interesting show today. We will, of course, have Linda Master Dlamini join us later on the show to discuss the midlalo. Njengoba sibuya kuyo impela sonto, there was the Trade Fair Cup, a lot of other sporting developments outside of Eswatini that we want to discuss when Linda Master joins us later.
Yes, kunjalo mbukelekani ke staphenze sikhulumisane nalababuya eSomfeni libandla le Global Church New Life Global Church lesichazela kabanti nje ngeAfrica Tour letawube yendeka kuletinyanga nje September and October. Dr. Rodney Howard Brown, the esteemed president and founder of River University, is set to embark on a remarkable Holy Ghost and Fire tour across 13 African countries, including Eswatini, and he'll be accompanied by a dedicated team of 20 individuals. Dr. Rodney Howard is a highly respected figure in the realm of faith, education, and entrepreneurship. Kantike kule journey lena is expected to also engage with heads of state, influential business figures, and conduct mass outreach events within each nation. Kantike mission yakhe nje kuzama ku-empowerisha individuals kanye neku-inspirisha transformation and share the life-changing message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Mhlekiseni ke sidaba sinaye lapha Apostle Abednego sotochazela kabanti nje ngayo le tour letabe icala kuto letinyanga letimbili sitabe sina 6:30 lomhla ekuseni. Lesikhathi sibuke nje thamba embili kumaphephandaba ethu. Right, sawubuka i-Times of Eswatini kuphela lomhla ekuseni kungumsombuluko leti hamba embili kilolu phephandaba spinning and drifting pegs them at trade fair. Bungumsebenzi we-trade fair lapho bekuspina khona imoto netithombe tiyabonakala. Kuletinye ithamba embili about 2 million amalangeni transferred to civil servants child account. Minister of Finance employee and the Treasury Department investigated by cops. Kuletinye thamba embili Anglicans Reverend Nhlanhla leaving for Scotland. Kuletinye thamba embili government cleaner wins 380,000 malangeni new car. Kansi kuletinye thamba embili Lady Mabuza, Minister of Education, says bad blood with snot cost her elections.
Temidlalo, Times of Eswatini, Green Mamba has been crowned champions of the PLE Trade Fair Cup after beating Babane Swallows 6-0 in the finals. The tournament was played at Mavuso Trade Sports Center elaganike Laitolo. That's the leading story. Kanzike Gulenye Kings Cup lokungumdlalo wegaluva lo underway lapha Real Swazi kubonakala ngesithombe His Majesty King Mswati III, joined by former South Africa President Jacob Zuma on his left, while receiving a 1.1 million emalangeni replica check from ESRIC General Manager zaMangcobo. Kuna assistant GM Sabelo Mota, Carlos Zita Real Palace on Saturday night. And on another one, over 2.4 million emalangeni for Kings Cup Golf. These are the leading sports headlines this morning.
All right, so it's 5 minutes after 6. Tabahlode mangetsana sibuya sathatha indaba tethu.
Umsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV utibophelele kuhlonipha nekulandzela umgomo wetekusakata loweluswe libandla letekuchumana eVeni.
Ngephansi kwalomgomo sitimisele kusakata tindzaba letiya ngaleso sikhatsi tindzaba letide magama lacosheme letitsembekile letitsinza tonke tinhlangothi naletisebaleni
kusukela kutepolitiki, tetemphilo, tekulima, tetinkantolo netemhlaba wonke jikelele siniletsela tindzaba njengoba tinjalo ngaleso sikhatsi letenteka ngaso.
Kanzi kulo msakato siphindze sikulethele lonke luhlobo lwetemidlalo kusuka emidlalweni welibhola letinyawo kuye emidlalweni ledlalelwa ematafuleni kanye naleto letiqhamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Leti tindzaba lowutiletselwa ngumsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV.
Siphinze sikwamukela lihlelweni ingwane lomuhle nathi tindzaba silo semhlaba sesitfumise ligalelo lelifakwa ngemaswati kusekela imisebenti nemikhosi yelive. Iphefumula esiyidlwenisa kusihlwa semidlalo weligaluva ingwenyama ithe live linemsebenzi lomkhulu wekungeta tindzawo tekulala eVeni ngoba ke tinombolo tetivakashi letita lapha eSwatini tenyukile.
Silo semhlaba naloke waba ngumengameli eVeni eNingizimu Afrika singenele sidlo sakusihlwa senzebe yemidlalo yeligaluva iKings Cup Golf Tournament esigodlweni ngaLuzitha. Lesidlo besikade singenelwe nangamakhosikazi yesilo sigodlo ndvunankulu welive libandla letindvuna tembuso boba betikhulu kunye nalabanye labakhulu embusweni. iKings Cup Golf Tournament leyasukinyiswa silo semhlaba ifaka sandla lesibandi kuthuthukisa tekuvakasha letibese tiba nemthelela kuthuthukisa umnotho welive. Kusenhlitweni yayo embube ukuthi tinhlangothi letiningi nematiko lamaningi afake isandla kuthuthukisa umnotho welive ngetindlela letehlukene. Kubuya kwalemidlalo yeligaluva yinfokoto lenkulu kubashayi beligaluva. Lemidlalo leseyineminyaka lengama-20 yasukunyiswa ike yangabi khona kuleminyaka leyengcile ngenxa yemkhuhlane we-COVID-19. Lemidlalo ingenelwe bashayi babomkantshubomvu beligaluva kanye nalabo labasengakafiki ezingeni leliphakeme. Labangenele lemidlalo baqhamuka lapha ekhaya eSwatini nangephandle kwaleli njengoba labanye babuya emaveni lafa ekhathi iNingizimu Afrika, iMalawi, iKenya, iZimbabwe neZambia kuphela labambalwa. Bange-66 abashayi beligaluva kulo mncintiswano. Abange-44 baqhamuka ngaphandle kwelive bese kuthi laba-12 ngemaswati. Silo semhlaba siphefumula sithe noma umhlaba lokufa ekhathi leSwatini ube isimeni se-COVID-19 kuyathokozisa kubona ukuthi emaswati akayilahli lemidlalo kodwa achubekile alolonga likhono.
Sithiteke nasiuqala lo msebenzi kwakhanya ukuthi njoba kube sekuba ne-COVID emkhathisini kwase awusaqhubeke ngale momentum besihamba ngawo ephakelo kuhle ukuthi noma ngabe bekunjalo still emaswati aqhubekile ukuthi atiqeqeshe kulesigaba segalufa bekunene. Lo kusijabulisa siba kaNgwane ukuthi there is talent kaNgwane bekunene. Le kusijabulisa ukubona leli talent lemaswati libe recognized emhlabeni wonke jikelele lokho kusho ukuthi siba kangwane sifanele siqhubeke sifake momentum esigabeni sekutheni sisebenze kakhulu kutoqhamuka ematalent langetulu bekunene.
Imbuke ithe eMaswati kumele aqhubeke athuthukise lemidlalo njengoba lona mdlalo ukhulisa ihlangothilo tekuvakasha.
Sivile lonyaka tinombolo tetivakashi letikhona kangwane kutsi tingakanani tibe tinkulu kakhulu to the point kutsi bafika bangibikela nekwekuthi i-accommodation sekude kangwane sekuyashoda kwabonalisa ukuthi live leSwatini lifanele lifake nemandla ekubonaliseni ukuthi i-accommodations siqhubekela phambili nembala iba sesigabeni lesikahle bekunene.
Ingwenyama iphindze yabonga labasekeleli ndzebe yathumisa umoya omuhle wenhlitiyo lenhle eMaswatini wekusekela imikhosi nemisebenzi yelive.
Nalonyaka njengoba lo msebenzi wegalufa awuphumeleli kahle kude ma-sponsors siyabonga ke ngoba ama-sponsors asabele nembala nakusukunyiswa lo msebenzi avele aba khona la kujikijelako esivivaneni lokuhamba umgamo lomude kuyawubambisa lo msebenzi wegalufa sesithi ke asibathumiseni kwekuthi awu basebenza umsebenzi lomuhle nakusasa bende njalo bekunene.
Ndvunankulu welive umhlanisha Cleopas Dlamini wekhutelwandle ngwenyameni ngekusekela nangekusungula lemidlalo. Ndvunankulu uphindze waveta lethemba ukuthi umnotho utawukhula ngale midlalo.
Siyabonga silo sikhulu nesupport yakho kakhulu ngoba ngaphandle kwesupport umdlalo ungeke uyenzawo.
Lo khulumele tinkampani letisekelele ndzebe ngumphathi wenkampani yemagesi Ernest Mkhonda loveta ukuthi kubathokothise kakhulu ukusekela lemidlalo njengoba umdlalo wegaluva uyasita kutemphilo kutekuvakasha kanye nakutebhizinisi ngoba labadlala lemidlalo bayakhona kushela neligwayi kutebhizinisi. Libandla lelilungiselela lemidlalo libonga kakhulu ingwenyama ngaleli phupho lekuthuthukisa temidlalo tekuvakasha kanye nemnotho. Libonga uhulumende ngekubahola nekubacondzisa basasebenta lemidlalo. Imali lesekelele ndzebe ikhulile uma kucathaniswa naleminye iminyaka leyengcile kanti lo nyaka ingetulu kwemalangeni latigidzi letimbili. Tinkampani letisekelele emidlalo tine kanti tifake ekhatsi inkampani yemshwalensi kuleli Eswatini Rural Insurance Corporation, inkampani yetemagesi kuleli, inkampani yabomahlalekhukhini iMTN kunye nalibhange le-Eswatini Nedbank. Nahulumende wembube ubelihlahlandlela kule midlalo njengoba naye afake isandla. Etindzabeni kubika Pholile Maziya esigodlweni kaLozitha.
Libandla lelibuke kubuyisela kuthula esifundeni leSendansi neAfrika ebandleni leMasheshi selikhiphe isijubo sekuthi Reverend Canon Advert Dlamini umsebenzi wakhe kuleli bandla lase All Saint kufika emaphethelweni nakuphela inyanga letako October 31. Ngekusho kwasihlalo waleli bandla le Canon Rosalie Manning Reverend Canon Advert Dlamini utawubukelwa sikhala lokungenteka kube ngumsebenzi longaphandle kwakuleli ngoba ke leli bandla likhona mhlaba wonke.
Ngemuva kwekungaboni ngasolinye lokubekhona ebandleni leMasheshi kuleli libandla lelibuke kubuyisana nekubuyisela kuthula kuleli bandla i-Anglican Church of Southern Africa Safe and Inclusive Church selikhiphe isijubo sekuthi Reverend Advent Dlamini imisebenzi yakhe layenda eCathedral itawufika emaphethelweni mhla ka-31 October 2023. Ngekusho kwalei Canon Rosalie Manning uthi-ke Dlamini utawuhlala tinyanga letimbili angakathweswa imisebenzi letsite ebandleni bese-ke leto tinyanga tilandzelwa ngemalanga langu-55 nawo latawubhadalelwa wona ngaphandle kokwetfeswa umsebenzi paid leave.
Reverend Advent will complete his tenure as rector of All Saints Cathedral on the 31st of October. On the 1st of November, Reverend Advent will then start a 2-month sabbatical period, which will be paid for. And following the 2 months of sabbatical, Reverend Advent will then go on 55 days of paid leave. We all know the saying in Africa that when the elephants fight, the grass suffers. And in this case, the grass had been the people of God.
Canon Rosalie uthi ke ngelusito lwembishophi Dalsey nalabanye belibandla labathintekako utawubukelwa dlamini imisebenti langayenda emabandleni angaphandle kwakuleli ngoba leli bandla libandi. Canon Rosalie uthi ke leli bandla lase All Saints litawufunelwa umfundisi loseyathethe umhlala phansi lotawubamba kuba ngumfundisi tinyanga letisithupha. Canon ubeke sobala kuthi umbishophi Dalsey utimisele kugcina kuthula nekubuyisana kule diocese yaseSwatini. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni nginaThemba Shabangu eMbabane.
Lihhovisi leliphini ilandvunankulu lisebentisa imali lengetulu kwesigidi semalangeni ngeminyaka ekuthengeni tintfo letahlukahlukene letisetjentiswa abantu labakhubatekile ukuthi bakhone kuphila kanye nokuthi batendele loko labafise kukwenta amalanga onke. Lokhu kushiwo ngumcondzisi wetenhlalakahle ehhovisi leliphini ilandvunankulu umcusi Shongwe uma aphendvula tikhalo tebantfu labanelibala tekuthi emafutsa ekugcobisa kude noma-ke kude bavikele lilanga akatfolakali etibhedlela takuleli.
Kubalela kwelanga ngolenye yetintfo letibakhatsata kakhulu bantu belibala njengoba lingaba nemithelela lemibi etimpilweni tabo. Njengaloku kushisa sekucalile, labanye bantu belibala bacocisene netinsatheli talomsakato ngekukhatsateka kwabo ngenxa yokweswelakala kwetintfo tekutivikela elangeni.
Sinetinkinga njengaloku sekungene kushisa, singalokuvikeleka tigcoko like longathi ngaba tikipa bomathayithi so lelanga lingasitholi. Kushisa kwethu sesiyakuva nje nyalo, lesivuthwa siyasithola kancane lokho ukuthi nalingashisa kwendlula lokhu vele lesikhumba sethu ngeke sibe kahle.
Labanye bethu bayakhala ukuthi bona bakhashane kuphindze baspende bo 200 noma bo 250 kufika kuleto tindzawo. Kungazuthi nakhona bangathi bawabeka kuleyo ndzawo bacale bathathise kithi.
Umcondzisi wetenhlalakahle ehhovisi leliphini ilandvunankulu Mcusi Shongwe uthi bantu labanelibala bangakhathateki njengoba uhulumende sewubasonzetele eduze emafutsa kanye nalokunye lokudzingwa ngulabakhubatekile.
Office la DPM ngilo leli sidawo ekuprocuration lama crimes alaba bantu belibala. Kodwa ke kungeta nje over and above that uhulumende office leliphini landvunankulu luhlelo lapho khona elithenga nje equipment lenye lefaka khathi wona ama-creams, ama-crutches, ama-white cans kanye nama-wheelchairs for bantu labakhubatekile eveni.
Shongwe uchubeka uthi uhulumende uhlele ukukhulisa linani lebantu labakhubatekile labathola imali esikhwameni sekubalekelela ukuthi baphile lesatiwa ngele social grant. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Mbongwadube naThemba Shabangu eMbabane.
Bosomabhizinisi labancane labehlukene bathola lithuba lekufundza kabanti ngetindlela tekutfutfukisa emabhizinisi abo emhlanganweni sikolwa lowatiwa ngelevusa umnotho lohlelwe inhlangano yabosomabhizinisi bemtsabu i-Federation of Eswatini Business Community lebeyisemavuso Trade and Exhibition Center kaManzini. Umphatsi walenhlangano Tanya 5 uthi maningi ematfuba ekwenta ibhizinisi kuleli kungako-ke bahlanganise bosomabhizinisi kude bashiyele lwati.
A business is not just about the buying and selling issues. It is much more than that. There's bookkeeping issues. So, sicela baka ERS bete batosikhulumisa ukuthi ama-tax issues ethu, how can we have our books in order? Saphinze futhi saba nebaka railway batositshela ama-issues of logistics. Ukuthi nangifuna kuhambisa ama-goods ama eMozambique noma ngicuphe eMozambique ngiletha la Swatini. What exactly are the logistics of those issues?
Bantu labasha bathi lo mhlangano utawubasita njengobe sebayakwati lokubhekeke ukuthi bakwende emabhizinisini abo.
Eswatini is open for business. often as insha we think ukuthi oh no taba nanatinkinga and there's so many companies that are willing to help you.
Ngokuqala ngifunde ukuthi it takes time to build a business. Ungajaga ukuthi ufuna ama-profits nyana. So you need to be patient. Don't get great things takes time.
Ucwaningo lwe-Finscope lweminyaka wanga-2017 luveta ukuthi bosomabhizinisi labancane kuleli bangetulu kwa-50,000 kanti labaningi babo bedelwati kahle ngetebhizinisi. Lo mhlangano uyimetamo ye-Facebook yekuhlangabetana nalesimo. Etindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Nelson ngamandla nginamusi Mkhonda kaManzini.
Sukhwama sekwesekela abantu labasha Youth Enterprise Revolving Fund sesekele abantu labasha labang-50 kusukela ngenyanga ya January kulomnyaka kude kube yinyanga ya August. Ngekusho kwemxhumanisi walesikhwama nesive sihlangutshele lesikhwama sikhiphe imali enganga 3 million emalangeni. Tshela uthi abantu labasha bakhombisa umdlandla wekusebenzisa lesikhwama ekutheni bakhona ekucala emabhizinisi.
I-youth leseyifandiwe sesicale lomnyaka kusukela ngaJanuary kuze benyaka sesifande laba over 50 ama-applications. The value yabo it's over 3 million. Then ku-pipeline sinema-assessments lakhona la over 20. I-value yawo it's about or close to 2 million. Besibukete ukuthi mhlambe kungakapheli lo mnyaka besingawafanda ama-beneficiaries lang-8 before lo mnyaka wa-2023 kuphela besingafanda ama-beneficiaries lang-8. Le strategy lesinaso singifund siyasebenza ngoba siyayibona appetite iyakhula kubantu abasha, ama-applications bayawafaka. Ngicabanga ukuthi mhlambe lokwende kwa le appetite ikhule kungaba ukuthi sengithela waye ama-applications ahlala angena njalo. Okunye lokusikile futhi le decentralization sesinawo ama-office lama-regions akangwane lamanye siteki imihlangano kaManzini naseMbabane. Lokunye futhi lokukhulisa le appetite ukuthi le-online application seyikhona, umuntu omusha seyakhona ku-aplya asebenzisa ikhasi langqondomshini layifana.
Umsakazo wetithombe Eswatini TV ukhulumisene nabantu labangenele likhetho esigabeni sabuchopho ngephansi kwemphakathi wasemahlaleni. Kuva nje ngetinguquko labatkhanza timcokwa kutsi tingentiwa kulomphakathi.
Bantfu labangenele lukhetfo esigabeni sebuchopho emphakathi wasemahlaleni sebatfolela itfuba lekukhankasa imbi kwemaswati lahlala kuwo lomphakathi wasemahlaleni. Ingcenye yemanconywa lesikhulumisana nayo lenconywa esigabeni sebuchopho ikhuluma ngetinhlelo letibonakala timcoka kakhulu kulomphakathi.
Liphupho lami lamahlaleni ukuthi ngibone lendzawo ithuthuka, especially indzaba yemanti. Emanti asitophe kakhulu lamahlaleni. Kuvisana buhlungu kubona abantwana labancane labacecile ku-university bahleti. Ngenhlanhla ke live la kaNgwane linayo indzawo lapho khona kubukwa i-youth development. Ngitsena ngihamba ngenta i-research ngabona lokuthi abantu basemahlaleni bangakhona kusitakala.
Imigwaco malena litulu asikhoni ngisho ukuhamba. Ngidawuzama ukuthi ngawo wonke amandla ngiguce ngamadolo ngishoshe ukuthi Nkosi yami amane basilungisele imigwaco. Ngiyacabanga nje ukuthi kusukuma kwami angeke kube lide kulomango wakithi wasemahlaleni.
Ukuthi ke ngifundise abantu ukuthi abahambe bothatha imali etikhwameni bakhethe inhlangano basale income generation project batokhona ukuthi babe nemali lapha nalapha. Bathi thuthukise bona ngoba lemisebenzi ayisatholakala ne-youth ke ngiyafisa lokuthi ijwayele lokuthi ide emhlanganweni but sitawuzama lokuthi siphushe ngemuva sicele ide emhlanganweni into kuvuma kubikwa tikhwama.
Ngemuva kwemalanga la16 live litawungena elukhethweni lolukhetsekile special voting lolutawulandzelwa ngema-secondary elections mhla ka-29 kulenyanga lesetulu. Lobika-ke tindzabeni teSwatini TV nguThando Kuhle Mdluli ngisemahlaleni.
Bantfu labakhubatekile babonga bayagangatsa enkampanini yahulumende ekhanga bosomabhizinisi i-APA ngekubangenisa embukisweni kuyothengisa imikhicito yabo ngaphandle kwekubhadala. Labantu labakhubatekile bathi lokhu kubaniketa litfuba lekutfola emakhasimende lamasha kanye-ke nekwekuva nje kutsi ngumuphi noma-ke ngumiphi imikhicito lefunwa ngawo emakhasimende.
Njengoba umkhuhlane i-COVID-19 washiya emabhizinisi lamanyenti awile, bantfu labakhubatekile labatiphilisa ngemsebenzi wetandla abasukumele etulo uma batfola simemo sekuthi nabo bangaba ingcenye yalabatawukhangisa baphindze bathengise imikhicito yabo embukisweni walonyaka.
Siyabonga nje lokuthi nako basikhumbulile lokuthi singasale emuva. Sicela lokuthi sichubekele phambili ngoba i-COVID isiwisile. Sahlala sangayisendi lutho kuthiwa siteke emakhaya.
Ngingathanda ukubonga kakhulu litiko lakasipa nakho babambisene nabakakhomisi ukuthi sonke isikhathi singasaleli ngephandle lokuthi basikhumbule siyi-disability ukuthi nathi sibuye sitokhangisa ngemisebenzi yethu.
Ngathi manje singachubeka siphelane singabuyele emakhaya. Uma kufanele ukuhlala ekhaya besilapha emzimpofu manje umgoqo afika sisusa sesihlala emakhaya sasidayisa indawo.
Labantu labakhubatekile bathe emathuba la njengaleli bawemukela ngetandla totimbili njengoba bayawathola emakhasimende lafaka ticelo tekuthi babentele lokuthite ngemuva kwalombukiso. Siphe Sihle Nkabinze wenhlangano yahulumende lekhanga bosomabhizinisi uthi leli thuba bebalivulele bonke bosomabhizinisi beMaswati labenda imikhicito yetandla ngakho bebangeke babashiye ngaphandle bantfu labakhubatekile. Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV kubika Mbongwa Dube kaManzini.
Sive sase-St. Paul's ngaphansi kwenkhundla yaseManzini North sipheke emakhetfa ngemibuto leyahlukene lapho ebeyawukhankasa khona e-St. Paul's kaManzini. Imanconywa beka ngena ngetigaba etfule imisebenzi yentuthuko lafisa kuyiletha kuso Sive sakule nkhundla.
Lokukhankasa ngiloko lokuhlelwe libandla letelukhethwa nemingcele kanti emakhetfa nemanconywa ebucopho ebeniketwa imizuzu lesihlanu nje kuphela kwekuthi etfule imisebenzi yentuthuko yaloko lathembisa kukwenda. Bekuhle kubane kungaboni ngaso linye emkhatsini walabo labesekela lamanye emanconywa nemakhetfa njengobe labanye bebeva kwangathi labo lababesekelako sebentelwa phansi emitameni yabo yekuba malunga ePhalamende kanye nebucopho.
Kulobunye angiva ngikhuluma ngekuthi ngidawushaya imithetho lePhalamende because linani lebantu lihola kancane. Ngeke uthi ukhuluma ngebhizinisi lomholela ishinji.
Ngabe umthetho muni lotawusihambela kuwo embili noma lotawushayela wona lo yawuwenda ukuthi nibantu bendzawo babe yi-priority uma ngabe kunama-project lakhona emangweni.
Ungahlala ePhalamende ungasabuyi lakithi. Yabo lola leli sizohlalela i-empty leli. Dalivala futhi mengabe awukhona. But sifuna every after 3 months ute usitshele i-review. Uhlale nasiphansi ungahlala ePhalamende kakhulu. Sakhe iPhalamende la.
Ngicela manina asikhulumele ePhalamende kunabala badla emaphilisi.
Njengoba emaphaphu bekahle abasetule esiveni besingenele lo msebenzi emaphoyisa ebekhona acaphele kuthula. Lokukhankasa kwenteka kudodonke tinkhundla takuleli. Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV kubika Nelson Dlangamandla ngina Fortune Dlangamandla kaManzini.
Kutemidlalo licembu le-Green Mamba sengilobo champagne benzebe ye-trade fair lonyaka ngemuva kwekuncoba ngibabane Swallows kumancabu alenzebe. I-Green Mamba incobe ngemagoli lasithupha ecanzeni. Tingako tindzaba lapha ekhaya lomhla tekucala sibahlole timakethe ngesimo selitulu sitabuya nehlelo ke sichubeke nehlelo.
Tifumbo tanamhla esomveni betingakacondzani nathi. Hawu mngani, usho ngani? Bekukhulunywa befana kuphela, buka nje bekukhulunywa ngekusoka. Ushiyekile impela mnganami. Angayiva kahle lenzaba. Phela ngeke usoka bobhuti. Nanathi bayazivikela kumdlavuza womlomo wesibeletho. Futhi ukusoka kuyingcenye yezindlela zokuvikela iHIV even. Kanti ke naye ebhuti masekasokile, uyativikela kumdlavuza wemvuku. Uyabona mngani ngishiyeke mbamba. Uyabona babuya kutofundisa betempilo, ngitolalela.
Lo mlayeto ulethelwa litiko letempilo. Kuva kabanti, shayela 2030.
Share the life-changing message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Kanti impact yaletholwe ukuthi akhona nokuthi akhona kuniketa ama-scholarships la provided nguye Dr. Brown kubafundi labahlukene lapha eVenice. Ngivele nginaye lapha Apostle Abednego Ntshangase walolu bandla le-New Life Global Church uchazela kabanti nje ngayo le tour. Sekuvusele Apostle siyabonga ukuthi ube naso namhla ekseni tindzaba letimnanzi leti ngiyakholelwa kusosive samaswati kube nje kafishane njengoba nami nje sengivedile nje ukuthi Dr. Brown ungubani kuchazela kabantana nje ukuthi vele ungubani usuka kuphi kuye kanje ukuthi akhethe live leSwatini ukuthi atosivakashela nje atosisendele inkonzo.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu Dr. Rodney Howard Brown uyindoda egcotshwe uNkulunkulu kakhulu. Yena originally uyi South African. Wahamba ngo-1987 as a missionary via United States of America. Wafika ke khona ke uNkulunkulu wase uyamandisa ke we founder Revival Ministries International, River Church in Tampa, Florida, founder of ama-universities, uyindoda kaNkulunkulu nje eseyindaweni eziningi kakhulu, ungenile ey'ndaweni eziningi kakhulu, wenza izinto usiza abantu kuyikho konke, angazi ukuthi ngambala ngimchaze ngumthini. Yes.
Yeah, also ngifuna sikhulume nje kabani nje ngelithambo lakhe lekubona labanye abandlondlobala na sikhuluma nje ngawo ama-scholarships lokuthi he'll be giving away scholarships lapha kubafundi balapha ekhaya eSwatini, and also nje nelithandvo lanalo nje lebantu njengoba sovetile nje ingavele mhlambe lokho kubaleka kanganani nje kuye nje.
Njengoba usuchazile sivele iqiniso elikhulu lelo, uyabathanda abantu kakhulu. Uyabathanda abantu njengoba nje eza vele wethembisile ukunikeza ama-scholarships noma ngeke ngene kakhulu kuleyo field leyo ngoba yinto esondele kakhulu enhlizweni yakhe leyo. Njengoba enothando labantu uyafuna ukudevelopa i-youth, uyafuna ukubona i-youth iqhubekela phambili befunda bezempowerisha. Uyabathanda abantu nje kakhulu, even humanitarian uyapha, ungumuntu onenhliziyo evulekile kakhulu nje, umuntu onothando kakhulu.
Yeah. So njengoba ngivete nje Apostle ukuthi he'll be visiting 13 other African countries including Eswatini. Ngimaphi nje lamanye emave mhlawumbe elasewavakashele, you know, reception ibe kanjani, bamamukele kanjani, yini lafike la yenda kiwo lamave lawo?
Uqale eNigeria, njengoba sikhuluma nje manje use-Ethiopia. Uzawusuka e-Ethiopia aye Malawi, uzokuya nase-South Africa eDurban, aye Joburg, aye Cape Town, uzawuhambela amazwe afana nabo Namibia, amazwe afana nabo Zambia, amazwe afana nabo Botswana, lamazwe ayishumi esewonke lazawahambela ngoba u-African tour vele uhambela lamazwe ahlukahlukene. Uma isefikile khona ziningi izinto azenzayo njengoba sesilo ukuthi yena uyela ivangeli ngoba evangeleni ngumlilo uyavutha uDibe. Ugcwala amandla sezulwini, ugcwala umlilo, vele nje siyamema ukuthi abeze abazalwane, abeze ngamandla, ngeke bayisolo ukufika kwabo. Uma sebefikile bazawubuyela emuva bengabanye abantu. Lokho siyakwethembisa ngoba sikhuluma ngendoda esiyaziyo ukuthi igcotshwe nguNkulunkulu kangakanani.
Yeah. Okusho ukuthi sibe senhlanhleni nje mfundisi ukuthi nathi eSwatini yasikhethe. Ingabe usikhethe kanjani nje? Siyathi ukuthi maningi ama-African countries. Sina nje sengi-Eswatini yini mhlambe lemchazile nje ngathi kwendekene?
Eswatini njengoba sesishilo nje ukuthi kunamazwe nje awakhethile azawahambela kusho ukuthi sizuza umusa nathi uJehova nje usenzela umusa lokuthi nathi sibe phakathi kulamazwe awakhethile ukuthi uzawahambela nawe Kingdom of Eswatini awumncinyane uma uhanjelwa ngamadoda kaNkuluNkulu agcotshwe ngalohlobo ngoba uhamba ngendiza yakhe nale team yakhe nalapha nje uzawufika eze nge-private jet yakhe i-Airbus yakhe uzawulenda lapha eKM3 bese simhlangabeza khona-ke lihanjelwe izwe lakwaNgwane and ngiyethembisa ukuthi izwe lakwaNgwane will never be the same again.
So leti nkonzo nje Apostle njengoba ticala mhla kabani 22 mos 23 September.
Yes, 23 September and 24 September ku evening lapho inkonzo zakusihlwa imvuselelo. Ebese kuthi mhla ka 25 September kune leadership meeting, business meeting at George Hotel. Entrance is free. Sawudla free breakfast. But of course siyazi ukuthi ayikho into free emhlabeni kusho ukuthi kubhadalelwe konke lokho but noma ku free konke but entrance noma free but it's strictly by registration ngoba sifuna ukuthi sicontrol ama numbers ngoba ma spaces are limited.
So kule tinkonzo nje njengoba uvedela Apostle ukuthi ticala ngalomhla ka 23 titabe tikuphi bobani mhlambe lenibamemako seve sonke noma mhlambe kukanjani nje ngapha amabandla mhlambe nifisa ukuthi anjoin?
Yes, ngiyawuthanda umbuzo wakho kakhulu sisi. Inkonzo zisemavuso Trade Center sabe seku hall number 1 le hall elikhulu lasemavuso. Abamenywayo ke kumenywa amabandla onke kwaNgwane. Nabo bonke abantu benkosi kwaNgwane bamenyiwe ukuthi sonke siphelele emavuso ngoba yilo nayilo akufanele athumele yilo nalo kufuna afike yena mathupha azoyizwela ukuthi uNkulunkulu umphatheleni. Kubaluleke kakhulu lokho ukuthi wonke umuntu nje afise lokuthi ayofika futhi akwenze enze imizamo yonke ukuthi aphumelele ayofika. Ngiyethembisa ukuthi mawufike kanye uyafuna ukubuya nakusasa.
Kokugcina nje Apostle ticala ngabansikhathi.
Inkonzo zawuqala kusho ukuthi nje sawucela ukuthi abazalwane ngo5 o'clock babe sebefikile. Ngoba na kuyi weekend phela bekho neSouth kumbe soekhathi besaphuma emsebenzini noma bekhona kumbe bayingcosana. Ngo5 o'clock nje sicela ukuthi uma kwenzeka babe sebehlezi ngo5 ebese ukuthi ngo6 o'clock ke ingceke kaNkuluNkulu abagcotshiwe abafundisi siyacela nabo ukuthi babe sebefikile so that uma kuqala inkonzo ngoba iyaqala inkonzo ngalo 6 uma iqala inkonzo matter of fact hayi ngo6 inkonzo iqala ngalo 5 makufika abazalwane kusho ukuthi senzele ukuthi ingceke uma ifika zona zikwazi ukuthola isitting yabo ngoba kune sitting arrangement yabo ukuthi abafundisi bazohlala kanjani bahlale kuphi wonke umfundisi anikezwe imbeko ahlale endaweni yakhe emfanele ngoba uma uzawufika inkonzo seyiqhubeka asiwafuna ama disruptions uzawuthola ukuthi ingceko seyihlaliswa lemuva la kungakafanele bahlale khona ngoba asifuna ukunyakaza kakhulu uma seyiqalile inkonzo vele kwabe sebehlezi bonke ngeindawo zabo.
No, ngiyavakala sibakhulu Apostle Abednego Ntshanga sembuketho ukuthi vele itho yaqala mhla ka 23 September noma ngithi inkonzo yaqala mhla ka 23 September khona emavuso kaManzini Holy Ghost and Fire Tour tabe sivakashelwe nguye umfundisi Dr Brown lapha eveni yasibahlete makethe sitawube sichubeke nehlelo.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
All right, it's 42 minutes after 6. It was an interesting conversation, Lungalele.
Yeah, interesting. Sasha kuyibona yona le tour noma ke inkonzo letita uqala mhla ka 23 September. Anyway ke sifuna nje ku recap kancane sifiso ngayo trade fair lebethatha amalanga lalishumi sayigcina ka 10 trade fair 3 years sabe singakhona kuyibamba ngenxa yemkhuhlane COVID-19 but ibuyile this year 2023 kanti nathi sengumsakato besikhona ukukhangisa ngaloko lesekofisha sive samaswati especially nje nayo TV license because I think better batosichazele ukuthi kumele ukuthi sijoin competition kude star connect win la TV winile ke sifise itolo one lucky winner lo tiwinile leyo TV leyo bekudla impela
ngoba kusemngando lokwinina ngoba nami phela ngiyacomply. But anyway, let's I think lesisakhuluma ngayo indzaba nje Eswatini International Trade Fair 2020. There's a lot of competitions. May not say all the competitions that were there, but I will for sure say ukuthi vele Eswatini TV did run a competition, TV license, whereby for the people that comply, the people that are visiting the stall, you know, they were taken through the process of how to enter the competition and how they stand to the chance to win these television. The competition. It's very simple. These competitions people get, it's like freebies really. So we do hope on the next one people will still go out there and support the trade fair because it is a big platform for businesses. We even saw His Majesty going there to grace that event. It should tell you the weight and magnitude of such an event.
Yeah, bekudle impela mbukele and also nje sibonga ukuthi nisivakashele stand safe Eswatini TV nakubuta lokho lenikubutako nabona ukuthi sisebenza kanjani. And also I think what I liked most is were the live broadcast lapho khona bekubana ama interviews, interesting interviews from health to wellness to fitness bova nje konke
financial
literacy bekhona konke.
Yeah, quite interesting. It was very good. It's just like what we always do as Eswatini TV. We try to, you know, reach to everyone and entertain and inform each and every potential and viewer listener at Eswatini TV.
Yeah, and also we saw comedians ngibonile nje Bell interview Slane nagogo bangasafuni ukuphuma sebathi batawufuza ndzaba. I think nje bewachazela nje ngemsebenzi wabo laba wendako ukuthi sabakhule kanganani nesupport labayitfolako nje Sivenisi Maswati. So yes, and also sabonile ama clients sifisa because we were running a promo lapho khona ama clients labekakhangisa khona trade fair nabo bebakhona ukuthi sibendele ama live interviews sibabonile abaningi bo isikhwami. So yes, I think
Water University made quite an appearance. Yeah. So quite a lot of them. It was very interesting to see companies like Pangwane taking up the opportunity to advertise on the best advertising platform on the land through Eswatini TV, particularly Kusile Breakfast Show. Sibabonile really taking up that space. We do encourage, even outside of trade fair, there are still slots that they can inquire with our marketing department, and they can come through on the show from 5 minutes to as long as 20 minutes interviews on the show, and we can, you know, talk about their products and what they sell. Yeah, that we should have an insert Lungalele also, for the TV license competition. Let's take a look at it.
We are giving away fabulous prizes courtesy of just paying for your TV license, which is only 180 emalangeni. To make this exercise exciting and very worthwhile, we thought let's bring the big bosses to come and join us today in the studio. And next to me is our TV license project manager, Mr. Luke Shongwe, who will be assisting us. We're doing the very important task of drawing our winners as we continue conducting our draw. And of course, we have our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Mlamuli Dlamini, who will be actually announcing who our winners are and just giving us his feel, you know, about the competition that we've been running for the past 10 days. And before we begin our draw, this is exciting, Mr. Dlamini. What would you say? Finally, the day has come, 10 days of enticing the public to be responsible citizens, to come through to the trade fair and do the right thing and pay for their TV license. What would you say about that?
Thank you, Nomtebo. You're right. This is very exciting. We're really excited as Eswatini TV. Eswatini did come out, visited our stand. We got to interact with them, talk to them, and also paid their TV license. And I'm really excited that a few of them will be rewarded with some really, really cool prizes today.
Yes, CEO. And for us, it's important for the public to understand why it is important to pay for lomtelo TV license. Singumsakato wesive Eswatini. If it would just, rubber stamp, that sense of responsibility, CEO.
Thank you again, Nomcebo. The TV license is very important because as Eswatini TV, we have the mandate to be Sibugo Sesive, as we said in our logo, right? And the way we do, and what that really means is we have the sole responsibility for putting Eswatini, painting Eswatini in a positive light, and we need a lot of money to do that, making sure that Emaswati tell the Swati story to the locally and the rest of the world.
Yes.
And we need a lot of money to do that.
Most definitely, CEO. I totally agree with you, and I'm sure the public does agree. They also need to play their part. But we're not going to waste much time. We have these fabulous prizes that you are giving away as an institution, as Eswatini TV. We're very excited. We are giving away a very important gadget here.
Yes.
Mr. Dlamini now, Mr. Shongwe. These are our set-top boxes. Mjinja wethu lona ngulo sigujana lona that makes sure ukuthi ke uyakhona ekhaya ukuthi uphase nzaba usetikweni nzaba ulele emaqaqosini la ungatholakali khona but wathona nango sigujana you will be able to get a perfect picture and sound quality ekhaya. We will be giving away 3 of these, and Mr. Shonga will be doing the pleasure of drawing out the names of our first winner. We're giving away 3 of them. For our first runner-up, Mr. Shonga, before we give away our grand prize, which is a 55-inch smart TV. Who doesn't want a smart TV, CEO? I want one.
I want one.
Thank you. Yes, so let's make us
but unfortunately,
happy.
Me and you cannot win anything. That would be unfair,
Unfortunately,
right?
but we can't rig these things, so we have to follow Umthetho. So we're not participating because, we're the employees. Without wasting much time, our first runner-up, Mr. Shonga, please do us the honor and the pleasure. We are making sure that everything is transparent, is shaking the box to make sure once again nothing goes wrong. And our first winner, if you do the honor.
All right, and our first winner is Mangoba Zwane. Mangoba Zwane. Congratulations, Mangoba. You have won yourself a
set-top box.
Set-top box, Kuchan.
Thank you so much. Our first winner is Mangoba Zwane. If you're a Mangoba Zwane and you know because you did come to the trade fair to pay for your TV license, give us a call immediately, and come and claim your prize. We are moving on to our second Sikuchana, Nchinja, our set-top box. Mr. Shongati, what's the pleasure, Bab? That's it. And who is our second lucky winner?
Second winner here, it's Apex Pharmacy.
Wow.
Apex Pharmacy.
Wonderful.
Congratulations, Apex Pharmacy. You've won yourself
a set-top box.
Set-top box.
For us, this is exciting, CEO, because we are also seeing, the industry. We are seeing, the shops coming into play. Their responsibility is to make sure in whatever shop outlet you have, if you do have a TV screen, you need to pay for your TV license. So Apex Pharmacy, you are such a wonderful example, and thank you very much for doing the right thing. Thank you very much. And for our first runner-up, Mr. Shongwe, is the box heavy? Yes, it is.
I see him breaking a sweat a little bit.
There we go. That's our first runner-up. Mr. Dlamini, please do us the honor.
All right. This one goes to Sarafina Tandi. So it's probably Tandi, Sarafina. Oh, I'll try again. Sarafina Tandi Smelane.
Wow.
Sarafina Tandi Smelane. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Miss Sarafina Tandi Simelane. If you are watching, and if anyone who knows Mange Sarafina Tandi Simelane, please give her a call and alert them because they've just won themselves this gorgeous set-top box. And we are actually selling that this is a new model
It
that
is the
we
new
have. So it's
model.
also
There's more
exciting.
features.
It's clean. Yes, it's more durable.
Okay.
This is very exciting for us. I think we have a number here.
Oh.
CEO, if you can just mention
Yeah,
the
we
cell
actually
number.
have your phone number, Sarafina Tandismelane, and it's 76383376. I'll say it again, 76383376. Congratulations again, Sarafina Tandismelane.
Yes, our project manager wants us to give Tanya a quick call. Can we do that? If we can just quickly try and dial this number as quickly as possible. Without wasting much time, let's give them a call. And thank you to our team that's upstairs, that's making the noise. Thank you.
Everyone is excited.
Everyone is excited. This is a pride moment for us as an institution, CEO, would you say?
It is, it is.
Let's give Tanya a call. We're going to try. Good to see move, eh? It's ringing. Okay, it's ringing. Okay, it looks like Agatwelakali Emoyeni
she's
Mage
not answering.
Salafina. We are definitely going to get in touch with her after our live draw. We are moving to our big prize.
The big one.
The big one,
yeah.
which is our
There it is.
50-inch screen right here. It's beautiful. It's waiting for someone. This is exciting times. Let's give it away. See, it's been here for 10 days.
It's been here
It's
for
time to
10
get
days.
rid of
It's
it.
exciting.
Let's
Finally,
do that.
and one of our lucky winners is going to walk away with it.
Yes. Do us the honor, Mr. Shongwe. You're going to change someone's life today. It's all in your hands. There we go. And who is our lucky? Thank God there's a number, I believe.
All right, drum roll, please.
And our winner is...
And our winner is Mavimbela, France.
Wow.
Mavimbela, France. Congratulations, France Mavimbela. You've won yourself a
55-inch smart TV. It's all
Congratulations.
yours.
Congratulations. And thank you for paying your TV license.
Thank you so much. Do we have a number? We don't have a number. What we are going to do is, Eswatini, we are going to call all of our winners and we're going to have an official handover of our prizes that we have given away today. And before we end, Mr. Dlamini, this has been exciting. The 10th day of the trade fair. We've been running this competition successfully for 10 days. What would be your last words to the public?
I just want to thank our viewers. As I said even earlier, Nomkebo, I want to thank our viewers for coming out. It's the viewers, it's the public that makes the trade fair really an exciting event. We thank them for coming out, and even more importantly, we thank them for paying the TV license and joining the competition. And congratulations to all our winners, and congratulations to all those who didn't win. They did the right thing. They paid their TV license and contributed to the development and progress of Eswatini TV and just TV in Eswatini. Again, congratulations to France Mavimbela for winning yourself a 55-inch smart screen TV.
Thank you very much. And there it is, Eswatini. We've given away fabulous prizes. This is not the first or the last competition that you shall be seeing Eswatini TV pushing to the public. So we make sure that you participate and then there's something worthwhile in whatever that you contribute towards the station, more especially paying for your TV license. It's been a great 10 days.
It's been amazing.
The energy has been very, very good. And thank you, Eswatini, once again.
Yeah, that was an exciting competition indeed, in the words of the CEO. Very exciting indeed, and congratulations again to France Mavimbela for winning himself that 55-inch TV, smart TV set. Such a great prize, Lungalele, and only fitting for a television station.
Ngiyakuthi nje ubhadala i-TV license. So uyabona-ke ukuthi bekumgqokanganani ukubhadala i-TV license. Yeah.
How are the roads looking like today, this morning? It's a Monday after a weekend. See a traffic update masinyana. The traffic update from Sergeant Pegmuzikule right now, Makobane. Sikuvuselelo mhla ekseni. It's a Monday morning. Ngabe time kanjani time emgwaqweni?
Anguvusele Mnguni ekseni ngalokukhethekile sivusele umbukelo walolu hlelo emadolobheni ethu tibanete emgwaqo lapha ekhaya edolobheni laseMbabane eceleni kwase Super Spa na uhamba ngestaladi lesisuka lapha eBus Rank siya eTotal Gardens yebo Dr. Shai leto tibane leto ate 70 kanti ke umgwaqo wethu losuka khona lapha ngabo checkers ubheke lapha eCentral Sozisa Road une kuthi kuvaliwe lapha na eceleni kwegede lesikole laseCentral. Imoto lojisebenzisa umgwaqo lovulelwe wona kwesikhashana kuphakanyiswe stop and go ke kuleyo ndzawo leyo kulandzela ukuthi imoto lo adikhone kuphambana lapho siyawuniketana wona ke emathuba nekuveza ke ukuthi kulomgwaqo lesilungisele wona kwesikhashana ulungela imoto letincane labo bethi imoto lezinkulu bayaxwayisa lokho ukuthi abazame kusebenzisa ke leminye imigwaqo ikakhulukazi na ungena noma uphuma khona lapha ekhaya edolobheni laseMbabane kanti ke lapha indasi kumathapha kamanzini nalapha indasi yenhlangano tibanete emgwaqo disebenta kahle lesingakufawula nje ke ukuthi imigwaqo lengena khona edolobheni lasenhlangano lo lapha kaMjuda na uqhamuka khona ebheka khona lapha ku Bus Rank lo mgwaqo loyo lo MR11 solo awusebenzi kanjalo ke noma uqhamuka khona ngale ngenhla uqhamuka kuShluse ungena ekhaya edolobheni kwenza nje lapha eRoyal Casino lokuthi ke imoto lesiningi siyawungenela lapha eTulu kulabo labaqhamuka kuBohlanzi lapha eTulu eceleni kwesonto lema Muslim asikhuthaze ke nalabo bashayeli ukuthi asicaphele bekunene umgwaqo lomkhulu lapha uvulekile kanti nalethi indzawo lapho uma khona umela buqadlana asihloniphane siniketane emathuba umnikete lomunye umshayeli lithuba lelanele lokungenela leyo mgwaqo ngelokuphephile kuze kuthi ke sivikele kwendeka kona leti ngoti letibonakala atendeka kakhulu ekuseni nasentsambama ukuthi bashayeli abahloniphani kanti ke namhla sikhumbule bekunene ukuthi ilanga lelikhulu kubafundi kwatise labaningi sebavele babheka ngakhona ke esikolweni kanti labanye bayawusibaqale kusasa asikhuthaze ke batali ukuthi ababakhumbude bantwana ngetindzaba tekuphepha kanti nakubo labasilayishela bona bantwana abendeke isiqiniseko bekunene ukuthi babalayisha ngendlela leyo bangilephephile nangetimoto letiphilile sisi nje kwaba ngiloko ekuseni sifisela sive semaswati indlela lenhle nalephephile sisayisebenzisa umgwaqo sikhumbule bumqoka bekulandzela tona timphawu nemithetho yemigwaqo ukuthi ke sinake ukuthi nakube lomunye umshayeli sekasefutheni yena siqiniseko sokuthi wena mshayeli lombonako uyamniketa lithuba lokwendlela ngendlela leyo bangilephephile lisuku loluhle esaqhubeka nemsebenzi wenendini emsakato naso sive semaswati sisifisele lona langa lelisha naleliphephile sayisebenzisa imigwaqo siyabonga kakhulu.
Sukuloluhle nakini malambulance aqhuba umsebenzi welive emigwaqweni isitaba hlelo market isitaba esichwane hlelo.
We at Eswatini Television Authority are committed to observing the Eswatini Communication Commission's Broadcasting Code of Conduct.
Under the code, we are committed to broadcast news that is current, free from hate speech, accurate, balanced, and fair.
From politics to business, health, agriculture, courts, and global news, we bring you the latest updates as they happen, when they happen.
We cover all the sporting codes from the football pitch to the chessboards.
This is Eswatini TV News.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at international news. A powerful earthquake struck Morocco's high Atlas Mountains late on Friday, killing at least 296 people, destroying buildings and sending residents of major cities rushing from their homes.
In the middle of the night, Moroccan television interrupted its programs. Late on Friday, a powerful 6.8 earthquake ripped through the high Atlas Mountains, resulting in significant physical damage to buildings and many victims. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake struck the farming region of Egil around 11 p.m. local time at a relatively shallow depth of 18.5 kilometers, some 72 kilometers southwest of Marrakech. Some residents of the Moroccan capital told local media that some buildings collapsed in the old city due to the strength of the event.
We felt 3 intense shocks from the earthquake in our building. People ran out into the street in a total panic. Some families are sleeping outdoors because they're afraid to go back inside. It was very scary. It felt like a train rolling through our houses.
The tremor was felt as far away as Rabat, some 350 kilometers from Egil, where panicked residents were sometimes seen fleeing their homes. By Saturday morning, the authorities began giving provisional death tolls, which do not include rural areas. Officials fear the worst as the scale of the damage around the epicenter is yet to be assessed.
Leaders and diplomats the world over expressed condolences and offered their support for Morocco on Saturday after a devastating earthquake struck the mountain southwest of Marrakech.
The remnants of a family life exposed in the ruins of homes near the epicenter of the earthquake. This is a village in mourning.
We were searching under the rubble, and another resident came to help us. A whole family of 6 people died in the earthquake. Everyone is afraid. 6 people from one family. May God have mercy on them.
Most of the confirmed deaths are in this mountainous region in the high Atlas range. It's difficult terrain. Soldiers have been deployed to help locals search the rubble. Much of the work is being done manually. Search and rescue teams are hoping they'll find people alive in the wreckage, but the death toll from this powerful quake is expected to rise. Shell-shocked survivors have a difficult road ahead. Abdelatif Ait Bella was injured by falling debris. He's his family's sole breadwinner.
If he's not working, it means we can't eat. But we have nowhere to cook. We can't go back home because we're scared it'll collapse. The house fell completely. I have 2 children, 4 and 5 years old, still young. He's the provider for the kids, as well as for his mother and nephew.
The government is sending essential supplies, food, shelter and medicine to the earthquake zones. That will help the survivors cope in the immediate aftermath of this disaster before they begin the long process of rebuilding their homes and their lives.
Niger's military leaders recently reopened the country's airspace to all commercial flights, ending a closure that had been in place since August 6th. But the U.S. military officials say that the change to commercial flight access has not normalized.
U.S. officials tell VOA military drone flights out of bases in Niger have been limited since the coup in July. Niger is the U.S. military's hub for counter-terror intelligence, reconnaissance, and surveillance in West Africa. U.S. drones launch from bases in Niger's capital and this airbase in Agadez, about 1,000 kilometers to the northeast, have provided eyes in the skies above the volatile Lake Chad Basin area of Cameroon, Chad, Niger, and Nigeria. In recent years, Islamist militants have wreaked havoc on local populations.
The U.S. has limited capacity and limited resources and limited basing options in the region, and it's barely keeping a lid on the problem.
Limiting those drone missions, Raggio says, gives militants an advantage. That's because reducing intelligence and surveillance above impacts U.S. and partner forces counter-terror options on the ground, according to retired U.S. General Frank McKenzie, the former chief of U.S. Central Command.
It reduces your ability to find targets. It reduces your ability to go to the final stages when you're going to be able to attack them. It has a significant effect on the ability to conduct those kinds of operations. Significant.
U.S.-Niger security cooperation has been suspended since the July coup, and the Pentagon announced on Thursday it was repositioning some of its forces from Air Base 101 at the capital to Air Base 201 in Agadez.
There is no perceived threat in terms of any threat to U.S. troops and no threat of violence on the ground. This is simply a precautionary measure.
The U.S. has some 1,100 U.S. military personnel inside Niger. U.S. officials say fewer than 100 have left since the coup began, due to either medical issues or regularly scheduled mission rotations.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tried to reassure Ukraine on Sunday that it will have continued support from its Western allies. Russia, however, just held elections in 4 Ukrainian areas it illegally annexed and appears determined to solidify its gains.
Local elections were held Sunday in 79 Russian regions and 4 Ukrainian provinces illegally annexed by Moscow. The vote in the occupied regions has been strongly decried as a sham by Kyiv and its Western allies. Russian election officials said forces loyal to Kyiv tried to sabotage them. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who last week toured Ukraine, told ABC's This Week show that he doesn't see any indication that President Vladimir Putin wants to engage in meaningful diplomacy to end the conflict. Russia invaded Ukraine in February of last year.
Everyone wants this war to end, but it has to end on just terms and on durable terms that reflect Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Blinken highlighted the suffering that Ukrainian civilians regularly go through as a result of Russian attacks. He was asked whether the United States will send long-range missiles to Ukraine, which could reach deep into Russian territories.
It's not only the weapon system itself, it's are Ukrainians trained on it? Are they able to maintain it? Can they use it effectively as part of their strategy? And we are working on that every single day. In terms of their targeting decisions, it's their decision, not ours.
Last week, Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov dismissed the importance of U.S. support to Kyiv.
They intend to help Kyiv further as long as it is needed. In other words, they intend to support Ukraine further for as long as it takes, and to keep it, in fact, in a state of war, and continue waging this war until the last Ukrainian, sparing no expense on it. That's how we perceive it. We know it. This won't affect how the special military operation is going.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov hailed as, quote, an absolute success the recent summit of the group of the 20 most advanced and emerging economies in New Delhi. The summit's statement didn't explicitly condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but Blinken told ABC the support for Kyiv was there.
Countries are feeling the consequences and want the Russian aggression to stop. And I think the statement reflects the strong support that virtually every country in the G20 has for Ukraine.
Blinken also underscored how Russia's blockade of Ukrainian grain exports is exacerbating food insecurity worldwide. Moscow reiterated this weekend that its conditions to restart the so-called Black Sea Grain Initiative haven't changed.
The White House calls this year's G20 summit a success, saying the final communique contains consequential paragraphs on the war in Ukraine. Members reached a consensus on a range of issues.
Unity was what G20 leaders sought at this year's summit, and it's what they say they got, with language that called for a comprehensive, just, and durable peace in Ukraine, but that stopped short of naming Russia as the aggressor. The group also agreed that the use of nuclear weapons is inadmissible.
By removing the words Russia and the word aggression, they gave Mr. Putin a face-saving gesture, and we'll now wait and see if he then reciprocates by doing what all G20 members except him agree to, and that's getting out of all of Ukraine.
At the start of the New Delhi summit, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged consensus.
G20 के प्रेसिडेंट के तौर पर
Today, as the president of G20, India calls upon the entire world to first convert this global trust deficit into faith. It is time for all of us to move together.
The wide-ranging agreement, which spanned issues like trade, economic growth and development, climate change, reform of multilateral institutions, technology, taxation, gender equality, and more, was reached on the first day of the meeting, despite the absence of Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Both were represented by senior officials. Washington's argument for supporting Ukraine hinged on the significant economic consequences of the conflict, the White House told VOA.
The war in Ukraine has put a huge strain on lower middle-income countries when it comes to food security, energy security, inflationary pressure. You can't discount the effect that Mr. Putin's war has had on the global economy. And what the president wants to pursue, and he'll mention the war in Ukraine specifically as he pursues this, are opportunities for these lower middle-income countries to be able to pursue investment opportunities and loans for infrastructure development that are high quality, that are transparent, and that will really meet their local needs as best as possible.
But Curtin said the leaders of the world's 20 premier economies could have been much bolder, especially concerning climate change.
We live in a world full of summits, G20, G7. We've got 4 UN summits to come in New York in the next few weeks. Joe Biden is planning a summit of the future next year. But what's the point if you just get these fine communiques, the fine promises too, we commit to, we agree, and then nothing gets done once the leaders go home.
President Joe Biden will first make a stop in Vietnam to strengthen ties with that nation before heading home to mark a day that has had grim resonance in the U.S. and beyond for 22 years.
Britain's Metropolitan Police said on Friday searches taking place in London's Richmond Park were linked to the hunt for a former army soldier suspected of terrorism offences. Daniel Abbott Khalife, who's 21, is believed to have escaped from London's HMP Wandsworth on Wednesday morning by slipping out of the prison kitchen where he was working and strapping himself to the bottom of the van.
Police circle Richmond Park in West London. This is where they're concentrating their hunt for a fugitive, an ex-soldier who escaped from prison as he was awaiting trial on terror charges. Daniel Abed Khalif is suspected of planting fake bombs at a military base and spying for an enemy state.
We have support from colleagues all around the country helping us to try and find him. There's 150 detectives and staff from Counter-Terrorism Command here in London, but many, many more from around the country and Border Force helping us to try and locate him.
Police believe it was a planned escape and the 21-year-old fled medium security Wandsworth prison by strapping himself to the underside of a food delivery truck. Opposition politicians want to know why he wasn't being held in a high security facility. On Thursday, the Justice Minister promised an independent investigation.
No stone must be left unturned in getting to the bottom of what happened. Who was on duty that morning? In what roles? Ranging from the kitchen to the prison gate. What protocols were in place? Were they followed? Were all relevant matters taken into consideration in determining where in the custodial estate Daniel Khalif should be held?
Counter-terrorism police have called Khalif very resourceful and say that as a trained soldier, he has skills he can draw on as he tries to evade capture.
On the sidelines of a summit in India, U.S. President Joe Biden has held his highest-level direct talks in months with Chinese officials. During an ensuing visit to Vietnam, Biden said a new strategic partnership between the U.S. and Vietnam is not about containing China.
In response to a question from VOA, U.S. President Joe Biden said he met with Chinese Premier Li Qiang while both attended the recent G20 summit hosted by India. At the news conference in Hanoi, Biden said Chinese President Xi Jinping's absence from the G20 talks may be a result of China's domestic economic crisis.
He has his hands full right now. He has overwhelming
unemployment with his youth. One of the major economic tenets of his plan isn't working at all right now. I'm not happy for him that, but it's not working. So he's trying to figure out, I suspect, I don't know.
The U.S. leader said Washington does not want to contain China. Biden also said he doubts China's economic crisis would lead to an invasion of Taiwan. China considers Taiwan a wayward province and has never ruled out the use of military force to take full control of the self-governing territory.
I don't think it's going to cause China to invade Taiwan. As a matter of fact, the opposite, probably doesn't have the same capacity that it had before. But as I said, we're not looking to hurt China, sincerely.
The United States and Vietnam are elevating their relationship to that of a comprehensive strategic partnership, Hanoi's highest diplomatic status, as leaders from the two former rivals stand side by side. Washington and Hanoi still have disagreements over human rights issues, but China's sweeping territorial claims in the disputed South China Sea have been driving the U.S. and Vietnam closer, according to analysts.
This isn't about picking the U.S. camp. It's about keeping the U.S. close to maintain balance with China. Vietnam views China on this issue the same way the U.S. does. That is, Vietnam views China as an aggressor, as a coercive, revisionist, rules-breaking power. And so when the U.S. talks about freedom of navigation and the rule of law, Vietnam fully agrees on this issue.
The U.S. is Vietnam's #1 export market. Biden's visit will also boost trade and investment between the two countries as the U.S. tries to build a supply chain that is less reliant on China.
Earlier this year, the U.S. and Canada imposed sanctions on Russia's nuclear sector. Targets included subsidiaries of its Rosatom State Nuclear Energy Corporation, yet the West continues to have ties with it.
The West has been steadily reducing its dependence on Russian fossil fuels, but extending this to nuclear fuel is proving to be more of a challenge. According to Forbes, Russia's Rosatom State Nuclear Energy Corporation alone controls 38% of the world's enriched uranium market, with Russia as a whole holding 46%. Ukrainian authorities have repeatedly appealed to Western governments, urging them to sanction Russia's nuclear industry, specifically Rosatom. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has also urged European Union leaders to take a tougher stance.
Ukraine doesn't understand why there are still no sanctions imposed on Rosatom, whose people continue to occupy the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant and put our safety at risk.
The answer lies in import numbers. According to Euratom, supply agency of the European Atomic Energy Community, Europe reported getting about 17% of its uranium in 2022 from Russia, and about 27% from Russian ally Kazakhstan. The EU's reliance on Russia's nuclear fuel is expected to grow as nations embrace alternatives to fossil fuels. In 2022 alone, U.S. companies purchased nuclear fuel from Russia worth $1 billion. In April 2023, the U.S. imposed sanctions against Rosatom subsidiaries.
Back in the early days of sanctions, when I was doing them for the U.S. government in 2014, I urged every company I could find that was doing business in Russia to find a way to diversify their sources so the Russians wouldn't have leverage. And I think we are rather late in diversifying our sources of nuclear material.
Sonia D. Schmidt agrees. The Virginia Tech Associate Professor of Science and Technology Studies says the West can find other uranium suppliers, but it'll be tough to find alternative ways to enrich uranium.
Uranium enrichment is not something that you can set up overnight. That's a process that takes time, that takes investment, and that is expensive. So if you, in a capitalist market, you look for who has already set up such facilities and who can provide that.
Ukraine aims to become such a supplier. Minister of Energy German Galushenko says the country signed a deal in June 2022 for the U.S. nuclear power company Westinghouse to supply fuel to all Ukrainian atomic power stations. Galushenko believes Ukraine can start producing its own nuclear fuel in about 3 years. In time, Ukraine might supply nuclear fuel to Czechia, Slovakia, Finland, and Bulgaria that are using the same reactors as Ukraine.
This will allow us to get rid of the Russian monopoly that sadly exists today.
Some European countries have already taken steps to overcome their dependence on Russian nuclear fuel. Finland has terminated its agreement with Russia to build a new power station, and neighboring Sweden's state-owned utility Vattenfall has refused to buy Russian nuclear fuel at all. Many Western countries still depend on Russia's nuclear fuel, and this dependence slows the effects that sanctions might have on Russia. The solution, experts believe, lies in finding alternative sources, and Ukraine hopes it can become one of them.
Thousands of travelers and hundreds of trucks laden with goods were stranded for a third day near the Pakistani border town of Torkham as the crossing between Pakistan and Afghanistan remained closed following deadly clashes between the two countries' security forces.
Trucks carrying commercial goods remained parked on the Pakistani side of the Torkham border crossing. The crossing remained closed Friday after clashes between Pakistani and Afghan Taliban forces earlier in the week. Both sides blame the other for the deadly clashes that killed at least 2 Taliban guards and wounded about a dozen Afghan civilians. Truck drivers say they have no option but to stay with their trucks and wait until the crossing is reopened.
When tension rises between Pakistan and Afghanistan, we get stranded in convoys. There is no water, no food, nothing is there. Our clothes are dirty, and there are no facilities for us.
Among the travelers stuck on the Pakistani side of the border are some Afghans who wanted to visit their families back home in Afghanistan.
I work in Karachi. I'm going to Afghanistan after a year, but the gate is shut and we have to stay here. It seems my vacations would finish here and I would return without seeing my family.
Some of the travelers stayed here for 3 days, taking refuge in a mosque. Hazarat Bilal Tehran went to Pakistan to receive medical treatment, but on his way back, fighting between the two countries' security forces began, and he was unable to return home to Afghanistan.
I am sick and have an issue with my stomach, and I am taking medicine for it.
These travelers say they want both countries to allow stranded people to go home.
We want both the governments to open the crossing, so we travelers on this side go to the other side, and those on that side could cross to this side.
There are hundreds of trucks carrying mainly fruits and vegetables stuck on the Afghan side of the Torkham crossing. It is not clear when the border between the two countries will reopen.
Spanish Football Federation chief Luis Rubiales quit his post on Sunday after 3 weeks of scandal over allegations he gave an unsolicited kiss to a player on the women's national team as they celebrated their World Cup victory last month.
It's a scandal that has rocked Spanish football. After weeks of enduring intense public criticism, Luis Rubiales has finally caved. He says he'll resign as president of the Royal Spanish Football Federation and vice president of UEFA after forcibly kissing footballer Jenny Hermoso at the Women's World Cup final. In an open letter, Rubiales said insisting on waiting and clinging to his role is not going to contribute to anything positive, neither for the federation nor for Spanish football. It's an outcome Rubiales tried so hard to resist. A day after the controversial kiss, the football boss offered an apology but refused to step down despite growing outrage.
Do you really think that I deserve this hunt? People demanding my resignation? Is this so serious for me to have to resign, having done the best management of Spanish football? Do you think I need to resign? Let me tell you something. I'm not going to resign. I'm not going to resign.
Following his defensive speech in which he railed against what he called false feminism, over 80 players from the women's team went on strike in protest. FIFA also took action, provisionally suspending Rubiales for 90 days. Spain's women's head coach Jorge Vilda, Rubiales' longtime ally, was sacked in the aftermath. Rubiales has insisted the kiss was consensual, something Hermoso fiercely denies. Last Tuesday, the player made a legal complaint formally accusing the football boss of sexual assault. Shortly after, the Spanish prosecutor also filed a lawsuit against Rubiales for sexual assault and coercion. The resignation is the latest chapter in a scandal that has not only overshadowed Spain's World Cup victory, but has been described as a watershed moment in the country's Me Too movement.
It's 28 minutes after 7. We've come to the end of our international news. Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Do you remember the spinning thing? This is us. This picture represents what we did. We were there when coronavirus wreaked havoc in our population. Together with other stakeholders, we formed the first line, controlling the spread of the unknown and unseen enemy of the people. Anxious ourselves, we collected dead bodies countrywide. At the time when no one wanted to come near dead bodies of loved ones, we did care for our fellow citizens. Thank you, the people of Eswatini and teams of first responders.
Size sinimukele sakuvusela nawo losonza kusivulela sibuke ukuthi impela somvo ihambe kanjani nemxhumanisi wamaphoyisa aNesive asikuvusele Pico lomhla ekseni ingabe impela somvo ihambe kanjani.
Siyavusela Dr. siyavusela kusonke sive sakangwane namhla ekseni. Bonga kakhulu ukuthola leli thuba. Sithumise kakhulu nakuso sive kulandela ukuthi sibuya emalangeni labe busy kakhulu bebe kunemisebenzi lehlukehlukene eveni. Nayo impela sonto nayo ibonakele iphithitela kakhulu. Njengoba bekusele ukuchubeka njalo phela imisebenzi lapha nalapha njengaloku sibonile kudlala lona ligaluva naphinde sabona lapha eGamanzini seloyichubekile i-trade fair naleminye ke imisebenzi lebeyichubeka njalo eveni. Singasho nje ukuthi imisebenzi seloyichubeke kahle sibili siyafunisa eveni njengaloku kudesi imibiko lesinayo lephambene noma sebeyiphatamisa lokho kusebenza siyawuchubeka njalo silindile ke kulabo labayawubika uma ngabe kukhona lokwendekile njengaloku kwanye lesisedele we-record lekhomba ukuthi imisebenzi iphathamisekile siyathunisa kuloko. Chubekile ke nempela sonke yabakhona ngenhlanhla lembike sibenayo umuntu ogcina sishiya emgwaqweni kulandela ukuthi ashayise imotolo lapha kumathapha umuntu lebeka hamba ngezinyawo indvodza ke lemshayisile igciniwe khona emaphoyiseni tawuvela kuyo inkantolo namuhla. Kanti-ke siphofaneni kunemuntu loshaywe ngemizaca waze washiya emhlabeni naye lebekusonakala ukuthi uneganga lokuthize lakwendile kulandela ukuthi kube nembana loneminyaka lengu-15 lokakadlelwako kwatholakala ukuthi lona wekunini ngathi nguye lowende lesendo nabathi bafuna kumbamba-ke wabaleka wagcina-ke sekathi la abambeka khona washaywa wagcina elimali. Labo-ke labamthinzile nabo ngalokhu njalo-ke bayawuvela kuyo inkantolo ukuze ukuthi batiphendulele ngakubo lokho kuqala. Kanti-ke kukhona emadvodza lamabili la khona esibhedlela lelashwako kulandela ukuthi kube nekushayana lapha endaweni sesijokodo la kugcine kulimala khona nomunye esandleni adubuleka nomunye wagecwa ngabo bobusha. Labo-ke lababili basesibhedlela kutholakele ukuthi-ke kukhona sibhamu lebesikhona lapho lesetshenzisiwe lesingekho emthethweni bayawubhekana nayo-ke inkantolo nabo labo bekunini batiphendulela ngaloko kuqala. Kanti emafutheni khona sibophe amadvodza lamabili kulandela ukuthi atholakale nezinyamatane kanye nesibhamu letimbili letingekho emthethweni lekubonakala ukuthi bebabolekwe tona. Siyawuchubeka nekusikhumbuza sive ukuthi uma ngabe kwendekile imvume noma umthetho wakangwane wakuniketa imandla ekuthi ube nayo le ndvuku lesithi sibhamu awuyulokotha nangalinye ilanga unikete isihlobo sakho noma ngabe sivutane kangakanani nawe. Lokho kukophula umthetho. Siyacela ukuthi size sigcine wonke lowo mthetho. Nalabo-ke leselokubonakala ukuthi banato leti bhamu letingekho emthethweni ngito letigcine tisente nakucala lobehlukehlukene eveni siyacela ukuthi agcine sive sisiside sisikhombise labo bantu siyawukhumbula ukuthi kuyo le mpelasonto kube nemoto noma umlungu lohlaselwako kamanzini amukwa yona impahla yakhe wagcina adutshulwa naye uyalahlwa nje esibhedlela losikhuluma laba bekunene-ke bagcine babalekile nakhona siyawuchubeka sithole sive sisiside nge-information letasisida ukuthi labo bekunene baboshwe singamshayela-ke lobuke emacala esifundeni sakhona kamanzini bekungaba ithabo wakahlophe nombolweni le-7606 8570 7606 8570 siyabonga kakhulu sifisela wonke umuntu uluviki lelihle njengalokho bemsebenzi itabe ichubeke njalo siyaziba ukuthi sikholwa sesiningi siyavulwa so kuyawuba nephithela kwabantwana sinikeze isikhathi lesenele sisaye emisebenzini sigcine kusenasikhathi ukuze singasebambeleleka-ke kule traffic njengalokho itawuphakama namhla siyabonga kakhulu msakazi.
Sibonga kakhulu Phiko kusiniketa loyo mbiko loyo waye impelasonto wasibahlete makethe nasibuya sidabe sibuke tona temidlalo.
Hello and welcome to Eswatini TV and to a brand new talk show called A Cuppa with Nomgebo. And I do what I have to do because I know where I'm going. All 5 of my mothers have inspired me.
So the addiction didn't happen then. It happened again another 8 years later. But that's where it started.
Choices I made at the time were not the best choices for myself.
I understand how a person can lose their mind in terms of life experiences.
That's what it looks like, and I like that. But you know what? The journey to my success is never a straight line. Yeah, people are on the net now, and that's where we'd like to catch them with such shows.
Six minutes after 7, welcome back to the program. We do have Linda Master Dlamini who has joined us on the show. Master, mani. You know, we had the trade fair. We're supposed to have you guys on Friday. The biggest conversation, the trade fair cup. Yeah, I couldn't remember but I'm glad we have you. That's the tournament just before we even get to the finals. How was it? Very good morning to you, man.
Ngiyabonga Sifiso ngikuthola ukukhuluma uvusele bukelo sazi TV Eswatini TV loyal viewer. Isifiso somlulo namuhla ngiyathi ukuthi tithubuti te weekend kulabanyenti tikhona kulandzela ukuthi vele beku weekend le busy nangisho kanjalo kakhulu kade ngala kutemidlalo ukhuluma nge Trade Fair Cup ukhuluma ngemidlalo webhola ukhuluma nge-netball ukhuluma ngabo basketball kodwa njoba usho ukuthi kube nemassacre emavuso itolo but nje the tournament before sifike kule final the tournament overall ithi tena ibuya kwecala ngemva komnyaka le-10 because nayigcina kubanjwa nangikhumbula kahle ngo-2013 licembu lelayiwina lapho i-Royal Leopard and nayisukunyiswa ke leya 2023 kwaba kunenge lokukhuluma ukuthi imali encane kangaka ama-winners atawuthola 300,000 bla 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 kodwa eqinisweni lonke vele leti mali cishe le simo semnotho sisho ukuthi bantu basa recover khona tindzabeni tabo COVID naloku ukuthi ke ithi tena iqala yena Premier League wayiqala phasi wathi utayifanda lokusho ukuthi vele bekungeke kuze kube tigitsi letinenge kodwa ikhonile ukuthi iqale sayibona emacembu lamanye adlala kahle imadlenya nje igcine ifika icesa number 4 iEzulwini United yakhona ukuthi ikhokhe licembu le Royal Leopard ku first round. Ngicabanga ukuthi lokho kukunika sithombe emcomvu ukuthi as much as ikhona le gap between lamanye ema teams kodwa lamanye the so called smaller teams asawanyusile lamasokisi akhwicile vele etikhindi kuyabonakala ukuthi balungiselele ngibekisa ngemadlenya I'm very happy ngendlela imadlenya le approach ngayo le tournament le yadlala njengoba ngisho izitolo igcina ikhala pass ku third place playoff ku Young Buffaloes amagoli amabili ecanzini kodwa throughout the tournament bekhombisa idlala ngekutimisela and bobuka the tactical discipline kule team yemadlenya bebathi bona noma singas attacker nitelanga kithi kodwa nasesiyalesa sinihlasela testaba very quick ngicabanga ukuthi invo leto lesikhathi lekutibona nalokuthi ke uunderstand ukuthi uyi team lengekho big longekho ema signings la ngasho ukuthi amakhulu vele udlala wena ngeprotect alibhali lakho.
Yeah, Master, we saw emakhohle lamahle kakhulu and ngiyavela ukuthi ngathi uyitfolile Njabulo Maziya Njabulo Mamba bekuma goal vele abonjabulo they won the top goal scorer awards.
Yes. Njabulo Maziya walicembu le Young Buffaloes uchamuka ecenjini lemadlenya yes wayijoina Young Buffaloes last season first round kumadlenya washaya 11 goals ku league wafika ku Young Buffaloes nakhona washaya lawo but simbonile against iManzini Seabirds ashaya amagoli amane umdlalo umunye vele lokumende ukuthi ku top scorer award babambene naNjabulo Thwala weqembu le Green Mamba Njabulo Thwala ke itolo ku final ushaya amagoli amathathu nguye nje labeka phethe leligitayi alshaya kule masakha bekaphethe leligitayi bajayivela yena itolo udlale kahle kakhulu.
I do want us to talk about that game, Master, in detail. Obviously the conversation around Babane Swallows right now is not really a nice one ngoba nekhanjelwa ngibane lesikhonze lo savele so sendile sinquma ukuthi vele so uyishile Mbabane Swallows. A lot of Mbabane Swallows fans are not happy ngale decision yakhe bana lesikhonza abantu ukuthi bathube yena noma Mbabane Swallows but within the midst of that sadness ngoba sekubana naye Masaka, just take me through that game.
Okay, Sifiso mhlambe tsine bamvu bebhola ngiyathi mina lothi bamvu babuka nje babuke iresult tsine bamvu bebhola ngeunderstand ibhola more especially ama neutrals nawutaba bethe ma emotions now analyze info imbabane Swallows yadlala Saturday semi final yadlala a tough game against Young Buffaloes leyaforce le game ukuthi igcine iye kuma penalties because yona idlala late iGreen Mamba beyidlale early yadlala nga2 Babane Swallows ne Young Buffaloes yadlala nga4 igame lapho yaphela nga6 in fact ema penalties exactly 6:15 bekaphela lawo ma penalties enqoba yona iBabane Swallows so le game leyo the gap between lelanga la ngemgcibelo nangelisonto ngicabanga ukuthi kube bemncane kakhulu lo mehluko bangakhona lokuphumula. Kwesibili kunabadlali labangekho kuBabane Swallows akekho kwakhe bekahambene national team aku national team akekho Tiger uhambene national team akekho Leon Manyisa bekahambene national team and labadlali labo nawungathi uyabuka kwakhe key player kuBabane Swallows Tiger key player kuBabane Swallows bese kuba ngiManyisa lesimbonile ukuthi uyamsebenzisa kakhulu yena Caleb kuBabane Swallows since afikile. But having said that Sifiso iBabane Swallows kule game le bekungakamela ukuthi consider emagoli last trooper. Okay, iconsider njani ke emagoli last trooper egamini ku first half ithole i-red card Sandile Hletshwako their striker uthole i-red card early in the game lokwenda ukuthi vele iGreen Mamba bese iba ne-upper hand kanzi vele beyivele i-dominator lakhathi egroundini ngicabanga ukuthi iGreen Mamba on the day ngithite nangita na kule tournament kule final bengikhala ngendlela i-Green Mamba le wasteful ngayo nangawubeka kanjalo kule final third ngale naseba attacker, and coach on Saturday washo ukuthi coach Ernest washo ukuthi vele batakulungisa kakhulu lo ukuthi le team ikhona ukuthi i-capitalize noma i-utilize ama chances abo labawatholako. But ke lokho kwehlele ngala kumbabana Swallows lokuthi vele babe sebawashala ama goal because ama chances bawa creator ngicabanga ukuthi Green Mamba on the day they were a better team beba deserve ukuwina bekufanele ukuthi bawine ngendlela labadlale ngayo njengoba ngisho ukuthi Njabulo Uthwala shaya amagoli amathathu yenza okuhle on Saturday ngabona and besikhuluma off the record ukuthi if angakhona kuze alungise indlela yakhe i-finishing i-decision making yakhe ne-finishing yakhe then angaba lihlupho wakwenda lokho itolo against Babana Swallows naye washaya amagoli amathathu. Ngicabanga ukuthi overall le game yitolo isinike injabulo because thina ama neutrals sifuna amagoli. We want goals. Sifuna imvula yemagoli, so sikubonile lokho itolo Njabulo Uthwala wewine i-play of the tournament. Goalkeeper weMbabane Swallows Qiniso is a goalkeeper lona Sifiso lengasho ukuthi since afikile kuMbabane Swallows 2.5 seasons ube very patient yena Qiniso because noma asang number 3 kuMbabane Swallows because bekuna Sandanezo kuna Ngomishi sekunaye but uqhubekile waba focused wa trainer every day ahamba training waba focused nyalo uyitholile chance yakhe player goalkeeper of the tournament.
Quite interesting. Qiniso Nyawo winning the best goalkeeper tournament. Would you really say personally as master best goalkeeper come vele kuMbabane Swallows now buka nje le tournament?
Yes, the way Qiniso ladlale ngayo le tournament, forget about the final. Yes, forget about the final. Everyone bekakhuluma ngayo Qiniso. Remember on Saturday against Young Buffaloes kuma penalties, uskorile waseva i-penalty. Lo wende ukuthi iMbabane Swallows igcine ikhona kuya ku final. Even before that lama games labeka ndlulile beka very solid. I-distribution yakhe ngicabanga ukuthi ngiko lokwenda ukuthi bamthanze yena Qiniso. I-distribution yakhe ngibevile labanye bathi bakhombuta iTumele Ngikhune asafika ku Kaizer Chiefs. The way even nalinyawo li comfortable kakhulu la bholeni, so uyabafuna bo goalkeeper laba kanjalo, and there's another goalkeeper Mlungisi we Young Buffaloes. These two goalkeepers Sifiso in the next 2 or 3 years sizabe sikhuluma ukuthi bayacompete ku national team sihlangu semnikati because bakhombisa ukukhula ku game yabo, so ngicabanga ukuthi yes labanenge bathathu consider 6 goals yena Qiniso ku final, but overall kule tournament udlale kahle kakhulu. I-final ngicabanga ukuthi yes iseyifike inkumbute i-2018 World Cup goalkeeper of the tournament bayinika Thibaut Courtois wase Belgium because Hugo Lloris bekayiwinile i-World Cup ongayitholi. So ngicabanga ukuthi ku noma kungayiwini i-tournament akukuniki wena goalkeeper ukuthi ube bad.
Are we saying that Green Mamba had an unfair advantage over obviously not since zabeka ukuthi i-Swallows ayikakhona ukuphumula kahle? Do you then mean that Green Mamba had an unfair advantage over Mbabane Swallows, and then what would be a recommendation for potentially the next Trade Fair Cup at Seni? Teams should have enough time to rest equally so that naba yakma final bengathi kufair.
Angifuni ukusebenzisa leli gama le unfair advantage.
It's not a bad word.
No. Kuba ngathi mhlambe iGreen Mamba indelo ifavor because nangidathi mina ngibe unfair kuwe lokusho ukuthi mina ngibe ne-favor, but Sifiso ngifuna kushonako ema teams because lenvo icala lama teamini kulungiselela isizini udzinga squad lesikhulu kakhulu, especially now i-big team. iMbabane Swallows beyade ukuthi itawudlala i-Trade Fair Cup. beyade ukuthi isetolungiselela i-league. Asengibekise nje ukuthi if imbabane Swallows, because mina ngikhala kakhulu ngalosile squad besitini.
Okay.
If bebana enough squad, enough players, yes, 3 wabo beba national team, 3 key players beba national team, but if bebakhona abadlali labanye labeba tawukhona, more especially ema internationals, because they need someone lapha ku midfield lo tafike abambe lo number 6, just like Kapia Mohammed bekakwenda, just like Papi Kabamba wakwenda back in the days. But ngikhala mina ngale squad kuthi if bebana enough squad, because i-trade fair tournament vele itakunika lothi ita thick and fast, lama games eta thick and fast, so wena as a team kuyakutesta for a long run yak-league. Yes, vele badlalile on Saturday late baphinze badlala itolo against 2 big teams, Young Buffaloes, Green Mamba, but logo akusiyo excuse kudzinga ukuthi bona as a team babe ne squad less enough to compete.
Green Mamba had more time to rest than Mabane Swallows ahead of the game.
Yes.
We know what that means. Okay. You may not want to say it's an unfair advantage, but having more time to rest
and bekungeke
kudlala nabo bani, that counts, master.
And bekungeke wena sifisa ukuze kuyende I sense if iGreen Mamba neMadlenya kwagcina yona kudlala Saturday, because big game, a category game ngile Mbabane Swallows Young Buffaloes. Yes, vele yona itawudlala late, uyabona. So abengeke kuze kuyakhe isense ukuthi ugcine ngeGreen Mamba neMadlenya, uyabona. So ngicabanga ukuthi akusiko ukuthi mhlambe ubenda mabomu ngile sinvo salomdlalo sithi vele the 2 teams atodlala later, but kwasesekwenda because noma ngabe kuchubeke iYoung Buffaloes yaya khona ku final yadlala neGreen Mamba, who knows, mhlambe iYoung Buffaloes beyingayiwina. And ngalendlela leyadlala ngayo iYoung Buffaloes against Mbabane Swallows on Saturday, because iYoung Buffaloes on Saturday yathola i-red card first half, yahluleka iMbabane Swallows ukukora against Young Buffaloes, sayine red card. Itolo iMbabane Swallows ithole i-red card first half, capitalize Green Mamba. Ngicabanga there is a difference between lama teams lengwabala lang 3, Young Buffaloes, Mbabane Swallows, Green Mamba. If utawuthola i-red card bakushaye 6 wamagoli, if udlala ne team ithola i-red card uhluleke ukukora against yona, ngicabanga kusho something ngawe nale squad lonaso.
Okay, fair enough, Master. And I think, to your point, the nature of a short tournament requires you to really, as an AGM and as a team, to make sure you have enough capital in terms of, the players and everything. I mean, a squad less thin. So I think, congratulations to Green Mamba. By the way, I'm sure it's Favy Swallows. I was just over the factors that, contributed to the result. And Master, just briefly, we don't have enough time. I think we have around 3 minutes to 4 minutes. The World Cup qualifiers, we are seeing beautiful football. I think we've seen Brazil and we've seen Argentina. Obviously, with Argentina, Messi's showmanship coming through with that free kick in the 78th minute. With Brazil versus Bolivia, it would be something you'd predict in terms of score.
Yeah.
But we are seeing the players that we would also predict come through, Rodrigo, Neymar. But let's start with Argentina. Argentina looking like Messi could play another World Cup.
Yeah, but beka shito yena ukuthi akatibona aya e-United States, Canada, because World Cup lelandzelako iya lapho. Iyobanjwa mavela mathathu, Mexico, United States and Canada. Wathi akatiboni afika lapho. And but ngalendlela ladlala ngayo, because kulama qualifiers na ukhuluma nje the late free kick la ishayile, ngicabanga ukuthi again and again uyaqhubeka uyashayina. So utaba tempted naye, even nayo in national team yase Argentina, ngicabanga ukuthi bataba tempted ukuthi bahambe bamcele ukuthi lokungenani adlale iWorld Cup yekugcina, kodwa vele
is he still eligible? Athi nama requirements. Requirements in terms of age,
no. Good.
Is that true?
Roger Miller, 1990 World Cup, waba the oldest scorer World Cup. because
Really?
wayidlala iWorld Cup sa close to 40 so ngicabanga ukuthi kudinga ukuthi uyangikalela mina ukuthi nangabe bangiletsile Ronaldo is 30 uya 38 nyaka but nakathi yena ku World Cup uyaya kude lokutamvimba ukuthi aye ku World Cup but yeah
he might want to play again, knowing Ronaldo as a competitor.
Yeah. Utawufuna vele ukuthi aye ku World Cup and simbonile adlala the other day Portugal iwina ngeligoli la Bruno Fernandes and naye wawathola ama chances ekora but bosakhuluma ngeSouth America Neymar go Brazil all time leading scorer eBrazil. If ucabanga the big names
Ronaldo
labekhona ku national team yase Brazil Pele, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo,
Robinho,
baneng Kaká bongacabanga ukuthi umdlalo njenga Neymar mina ngihlale ngisho irecord ya Neymar underrated kakhulu bamvu bagatsa ukuthi Neymar angati le miracle bebagatsa ukuthi utawuhlula Messi yini kanzi yena over the years yes ubulawa ama injuries but over the years yena ukhonile ukuthi emagoli awashaye consistently because ku national team over 70 goals lawashaye lenyalo overtake yena Pele na Ronaldo so ngicabanga ukuthi le record leyo ibe inhle kakhulu sibonene abadlali labebadlala umdlalo wabo oqala Gabriel we Arsenal defender wendi debut yakhe khona ku Brazil but overall yona national team yase Brazil ngicabanga ukuthi kancane because siyathi Brazil ukuthi ibona bahlale baya ku tournament bafuna ukuthi bayiwina hayi nje ukuthi baphelele kuma group stages and ke eEurope sesikhohlwa nje Hans Flick bamcoshile as a national team wase Germany yes on Saturday ebusuku bengibukela igame eGermany neJapan nalapho ngicabanga ukuthi kwabe massacre 4-1 against Japan bamshaya the first ever coach waseJalimane ukuthi aqoshwe since 1970.
Did he deserve it?
Yes,
just after that loss?
Yes.
Ngalokuthi yiJapan lemidlalo noma ngalokuthi
the way nje lebedlala ngayo yona iJalimane against Japan kudominate iJapan ngicabanga ukuthi akubeka esithombeni lesihle more especially emaJalimane because siyawati ukuthi are proud kanganani when it comes to football they are very very tactical so now utayivula wona le game ngicabanga ukuthi beka deserve vele mina ngasho on Saturday ebusuku ukuthi angimboni alasta Hans ececesheni yona national team yaseJalimane.
Neymar coming through with 2 goals, Master. Do you think we will see a player lotawukhona catch up amasinyane kula magoli akhe? Just like you've mentioned, the catalogue yebadlali lababe emva kwakhe lababe great in terms of scoring. Will we see a player letawuba as good as these players in terms of goal scoring at Brazil and probably break Neymar's record?
Kudzinga ukuthi Vinicius abe consistent ekukoreni national team. If angaba consistent lapho then angakhona ukuthi awakhanze lawo magoli anema or who knows Martinelli if given the chance adlale ku national team because ubukeka hungry for kudlala mhlawumbe emagoli angawathola.
Yeah. Master, thank you so much for joining us. I was trying to look at the fixtures for the English Premier League and the Premier Soccer League of Eswatini, and of course South Africa as well. They've been on short breaks, but Manchester United solo inetilonza kodwa nje sithemba ukuthi nababuya kuyoba ngcono. I know you're not a Manchester United fan. Must just joined us for a quick sports update asibahlole emarket esibuye sivale ihlelo.
Eswatini Lifestyle is all about inspiration, drive, and swag. Eswatini Lifestyle is informative and fun while covering all aspects of life, be it people, places, and trends in the kingdom of Eswatini. We got you covered. The focus is on the quality of life. Eswatini Lifestyle will spark your interest. Catch Eswatini Lifestyle every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Eswatini TV, Sibugo Semaswati.
It's 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. We've come to the end of our show. Lomhlexeni says invalidis as you will have a beautiful week and a beautiful day. We'll see you tomorrow.